In this video, I want to compare and contrast the Wusthof Ikon and Wusthof Classic Filleting Knives. These are probably the two knives that have the biggest differences across the lines. As you can see, they look nothing alike whatsoever. The Ikon has a much more traditionally shaped handle. It doesn't have any curve to it or anything, and it is extremely flexible, as you can see. The Wusthof Classic is a very, very curved knife, a very, very sort of thin knife, and it does have a good amount of flex, but not as much as the Ikon does. In fact, it feels almost like the amount of flex it has here is mainly because of how thin the blade is versus a different type of material that is more flexible. I guess it really comes down to, in terms of the shape of the blade, a personal preference more so than anything else. But I think for me personally, I would almost rather have a more flexible blade that's a little bit flatter so I can really get in between the fish and the skin and pull everything through, compared to the Classic, which is going to be a little bit harder to use because of the curve and is really going to be harder to really get down in there and remove the meat because of how little flex it really has. The second biggest difference comes in terms of the bolster. The bolster on the Classic is a classic bolster. It is dull towards the bottom and it goes all the way down. It's a full bolster, while the Ikon does not have a full bolster, so edge to tip is completely and totally sharp. And then of course the biggest difference is the handles. That's really what makes the Ikon the Ikon. You can tell they've put a lot of time and energy making their flagship knife as comfortable as possible. And that's not to say that the Classic is not comfortable. I think it's a very comfortable knife. It's just to say that there's an extra 15 or 20% of comfort added to this that the Classic does not have. The first is the handle shape, which really is unique and stands out. And I really feel like no matter how you're holding the knife, it ends up morphing into your hand. The second thing is they've made the tang a little bit thicker, and they've added this extra mass of steel towards the bottom of the handle, so that as you hold it, it almost falls directly into your hand, and it feels like an extension of your entire arm, which I like a lot. Really though, just like with the blade design, it comes down to personal preference. I think that it is worth it to have that extra ergonomics and that extra design, but it's up to you to decide if that's worth it for yourself. I'll put a link down to both below. If you have any questions, any comments, or any concerns, as always, let me know. And otherwise, I will talk to you very, very soon.